All right. Hi, y'all. Welcome back to the Insurance Lounge with Tanya.
And Christy.
We are your local insurance agent in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, and we are here to make insurance a little less boring and way more useful because our goal is to share with you what we know from years of insurance experience so that you can feel more confident about your insurance and how you can better protect your family, your home, your business, and of course, your future. Now, with that said, we have a very interesting topic today that hopefully you all would love. Um, but before we get to that, we wanted to share with you on what's going on in our backyard. Christy, what you got going on for this growing season?
It's time, right? You and I are both into our gardens. So, when I first got married, my husband always said, "You're supposed to plant your garden on Good Friday." That's what
Hmm.
his grandmother told him.
No.
So we always plant our garden on Good Friday. We've been burned by that a couple of times.
Few frost.
So yeah, with frost, exactly. So we waited a little while, and we had a kind of late Easter this year anyway. So I think Good Friday was probably going to be okay, but we still even waited another week, I think, because we were thinking there might still be another frost. But what we did this year, and we've never done this before, and I told you before, we our garden is in the ground. It's beds, and so it's backbreaking to weed it all summer long. It's horrible, and you just cannot control the weeds. So we tried something different this year, and we mulched with just mulched leaves. We mulched the whole garden for a week or two, and then we just cleared space to put our plants in. So that's what we tried. I'm hoping that I won't fight the weeds so bad this
Yeah.
summer.
I think mulching would definitely help that a lot, but if our listener knows a different way of
Oh,
keeping the
please,
weeds in
please, please.
control, please let us know. We want to know because that is something we fight on a regular basis
I know
every
it.
single week.
What about you, Tanya? What are you growing this year?
So we try to be a little bit more modest this year because there's a lot going on and we're not quite sure, that we can handle a big garden. So,
Yeah.
so we got the typical stuff, the tomatoes. We got three different type of tomatoes.
Yep.
We got a cayenne pepper because we love drying them.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we make our own cayenne powder. And then we
Nice.
also got some super hots. And that's what
Ooh.
my husband and I are super into. We love growing super hots, and super hot pepper plants love the South.
Yep.
So this is like marriage match in heaven. So
Maybe not
we,
all this rain we've been having these past couple of weeks, but once we get to that dry part of the summer, they love that,
yes,
right?
they
Yeah.
do. So I will make sure I remember to get you some of our dry super hot this year.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yes. So now with that said, enough of the gardening. Christy, what do we want to share with our listener this week?
Let's talk about what are the things that you can do to get the best price when you're shopping your car insurance.
Absolutely, guys. So, if I have to guess, your auto insurance bill is probably one of the larger bills that you have to pay every month, right? And when it comes to auto insurance, it's not just so cut and dry like, I've been a good driver, I never had an accident or a
Mhm.
ticket, and my car is 20 years old, and I drive X, Y, and Z car, and this is the price. Right. So when it comes to insurance, there are multiple factors that affect your rate, and we want to make you aware of those so that you can do the best you can to get the best rate possible whenever you shop for insurance or whenever your insurance comes up for renewal and it's time to
Yeah.
do a policy review with your agent. These are something that we highly recommend that you consider and that you do so that you can lower your insurance bills.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So probably the biggest thing, and a rating factor basis, Tanya, right, is what we would call an insurance score. And I'm not sure everybody even knows what an insurance score is, right? So, in some states, maybe not everywhere, but in some states, your credit is going to play into that. your claims history, your driving record, your driving history, paying your bills on time. There are a lot of things that go into it, but so your agent doesn't necessarily see you've got a, X, Y, whatever the number is on your credit score. They just see an insurance score number, and that's individual to you. So, one really great place to start to get the best rate for you is to provide accurate information so that that insurance score that's coming back that's personalized to you is as accurate as it can be, right?
Exactly, exactly. And the other thing to consider too, and this does not play into your insurance score, but it does go along the line of getting the right information and accurate information to your agent, um, so that you can get the best rate more personalized to you, is your marital status.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
being in insurance for years, Christy and I seen this happen a lot where many people are not aware that your marital status make a big difference on your auto insurance rate. So, for example, we seen married individuals willingly insuring themselves as single individual and keep their
Yeah.
vehicles separate, and paying a much higher price for the
Sure.
last 20, 30, 40 years. Right,
Yeah.
Christy?
I probably have customers still in my book today who are doing this, and I try to talk to them and think, why? Why do you want to pay for two insurance policies? And granted, people have all kinds of circumstances and situations, and there may be circumstances that warrant something like that. But for most people, by and large, disclosing your marital status, being married right off gets you a better rate, and then combining those autos into a single policy is always going to save you money.
Exactly. So, like you mentioned, everyone has a unique situation at home, but this is the one area we know for sure, guys, that most of the time, if you are married, you are going to get a better rate.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another big rating factor, not in every, like, again, not every state will look at this, but there are a lot of states that look at your annual mileage of how much
Yeah.
you drive, and that can
Yep.
impact your rate. So of course, just be aware if you drive more, your insurance gonna be more. But if
Yeah.
you drive less, your insurance gonna be less. And if you do have low annual mileage, guys, we highly recommend you keep your receipts. All those
Yep.
service records that you have, when you get an oil change, when you get your tires changed, just ask them for a receipt, have them email it to you, keep a hard copy on your file, whatever it is. But the more information you can give your agent, the better off you will be, especially if you can take advantage of a lower annual mileage driven.
Right, right. And to your point, Tanya, about those service records, what a lot of people I think don't realize is the insurance companies are pulling all of that data about your mileage when you're getting a quote. So don't think, and because I know I have people do this to me, think that, you can tell your agent, oh, I only drive, 8,000 miles a year. Well, you really drive 15. So you're going to get a big surprise bill at your renewal if you try to get away with something like that because they know.
Yes, most company now, Guy, everywhere you go to get your oil changed, to get your car serviced in any way, shape, or form, all of your
Yeah.
information is being stored, is recorded, of course, for legal purposes. But a lot of company out there are also sharing that information
Yeah.
with the DMV or with the insurance carrier. So oftentimes you will see why they pull certain numbers, and insurance agents don't really have control over that, right, Christy? Is whatever the
Right.
system tell us, that's the mileage that is going to be rated on. So again, going back to my point, if you do drive a lot less than what the information is showing, you want to make sure that you show your agents the receipts, because they
That's
can
right.
certainly help you
There you
get that
go.
mileage adjusted for you.
You bet.
Yep. And then what's another thing that our audience should be aware of, Christy, so that they can get the best rate possible?
Yeah. The biggest thing I like to advise people, Tanya, is consider a higher deductible. And it's again, everybody's situation is different and everybody's got a different number in their rainy day fund. But if, think about it kind of like your health insurance. It's kind of that inverse relationship, right? The higher deductible you elect, the lower premiums you're going to pay up front. So if you can afford, in the event of an accident, to pay out a higher amount at the point of your claim, then carry that higher deductible and drive those premiums down. And in some cases, it's never going to matter. You're never going to have an accident and have to pay your deductible at all. So why wouldn't you want to be paying that lower premium all the time?
At a lower deductible, you are going to pay a little bit more on a premium. Now, guys, if you don't have to use your insurance for an accident, you're never going to see that money that you're going to get back. Okay,
Right.
so the more common deductibles out there that we see is 500 and 1,000. But like what Christy was saying, there's no right or wrong way. There's no most popular deductibles. It's really up to you as an individual, and also consult that with your agent too.
Sure.
Sometimes changing your deductible from 500 to 1,000 can make a huge difference for you.
Right, right. And
So
on the other hand though, Tanya, sometimes it doesn't make that big of a difference. And if that's the case, well then heck, go ahead and carry that lower deductible. So you can pay less at both ends of the spectrum, but it's definitely worth investigating and figuring out if you're going to save money by doing that.
exactly. Yeah, just keep an open mind if your agent is trying to, showing you different deductible options. They're really
Mhm.
trying to help you see, where is the best return for your money.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we highly recommend don't shy away from high deductibles, especially if you can afford it.
Then you could be like me one day, and I thought I was so smart. I'm going to save myself some money. I changed my comprehensive deductible to $1,000. And how long do you think it was before I cracked my windshield?
The next day,
The next day. So, there's always that chance.
yes, there's always that chance. But guys, if you could afford it, nobody wants to pay more out of pocket, right? But then again, if it's going to help you save money and help you better manage your monthly budget, we highly recommend that. And then the last thing that we encourage everybody to do is, ask your agents about available discounts.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a big one, right? Um, there are, and they're going to vary, from policy to policy and carrier to carrier, but there are so many discounts that you can take advantage of. Everything from, an electronic type of policy delivery and communication delivery to telematics and a lot of things in between there, right? So let's dig in a little deeper on a few of those things.
Exactly, Christy. Now, with discount, you do want to keep in mind that it does vary from state to state and it does vary from carrier to carrier. And sometimes it also varies whether you are, like based on the age of your car. If you had a brand new
Yeah.
car versus now it's 2 years old, things like that. So it's also going to change. So we highly encourage you as well that if you are, you love your agent and you like the company you're with, periodically, at least once a year or once every other year, get with your agent, guys, and ask them about the discount. I mean, they're more than
Yeah.
happy to help you figure out what's available and what you're eligible for. So don't
Yep.
leave those kind of stuff on the table. Consider all the discount. Let your agent help you with that. One of the things that I would say, the biggest discount that you can count on that most company would offer is the bundling of your auto insurance with your property insurance.
Right.
So if you're a homeowner, see if they can help you save money on your home insurance too, guys, because that's going to save you money on your auto. Christy, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's that, and even if you're not quite a homeowner yet, you're not to that stage yet, maybe, but you're a renter. Um, sometimes carrying a little bit of renter's insurance not only protects you, protects your belongings, but it provides you a continuous insurance history. So that's going to make your homeowner's insurance less expensive later on down the road when you do decide to buy a home. But, sometimes it can be so inexpensive to carry renter's insurance that the discount you get on your auto almost pays for the renters, right? So it's at least worth considering looking at that bundle.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can do another episode on renters insurance and why you should carry it as the
Oh, yeah.
renters. We
There's a
highly
whole
recommend
conversation.
that. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll make sure that we do an episode on that and we'll put the link down on the bio for you. Um, the other big discount, Christy, that we really want to make sure our customer is aware of because we run into this quite often, where if you are in the household, especially if you're married, we already talked about the marriage discount, but you have more than one cars, guys. You have maybe
Yeah.
3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars in your household. And when you're buying that one new vehicle, for example, you want to see the what if, how much it might cost you. We recommend that if you are going to shop for the auto, make sure you put all your cars together
Yes.
because I want to say 99% of insurance company offer the multi-car discount.
Yeah.
Am I right, Christy?
I think so, Tanya. So it's just not an accurate picture. And I get this question from people all the time. Just quote this car for me. That's not really an accurate picture of what you're going to pay if you actually own multiple cars, because that number is going to go down when you get that multi vehicle discount in there.
Exactly. So again, if you're married, put your cars together. If you have a lot of cars and you want a quote on a new car, things like that, get all quoted together, guys, because you just never know, right? You just
Yep.
never know that you might be able to just save money, right? Making sure that you get all the best discount that you can on your
And who doesn't
policy.
want to do that?
Yes, who doesn't want to save money? Come on.
I do. I do. And here's one way that I save money too. And I know a lot of people don't like this, but let's talk about the telematics discount.
Absolutely,
Yep.
right? With all the technologies we have today,
Yeah.
Christy, why did you opt for that discount?
I personally, I feel like so people let's talk about what telematics is first,
Sure.
right? So it's for those who don't know, this is a discount that can be provided by your carrier based on your good driving habits, and really those habits are measured by GPS and digital data that's coming off of typically your phone. It used to be the things that plugged into your car somehow, but most companies today I think are just doing it off of a mobile phone. And the objection that I get all the time is, "I don't wanna be tracked. I don't wanna be tracked." I
Well,
understand that. I do, but I feel like I'm carrying around that mobile phone, I'm getting tracked anyway. I might as well get a discount for it. I'm a pretty safe driver, not always, but most of the time I'm pretty good. So I want to be rewarded for that. I've gotten to be a much safer driver in the last 2 years as my son is getting nearing driving age.
mhm,
And I've really become very cognizant of displaying good, behavior that he can model. So I've become a much safer
absolutely.
driver.
Yes, and I like these telematics discounts that these insurance companies able to offer too because it does give you a more tailor price to,
Right.
your lifestyle and your driving behavior.
Yep.
It really doesn't hurt uh, to test it out. Most
Right.
insurance company will let you opt in and out of it whenever you like.
Yeah.
So that's a nice option to have. The other thing that came to my mind when Christy talked about her son too is if you have young drivers.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah,
Right. If you have
absolutely.
young driver guys, like I know a lot of parents already have these apps on their children anyways. But the wonderful thing about telematics with auto insurance is it does guide you and it does help make you be more aware of what is safe driving behavior look like,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, you know, maybe don't speed over a certain amount of miles in you know over
And
the
the big
speed
one,
limit. Mhm.
don't use your phone while you're driving.
Exactly. And I
Yeah,
think on that, for young driver, that's a good habit to get into.
absolutely. Yeah.
And then the best part of it, young drivers are going to make your insurance go up way too much anyway. So anything that you can get back, and most of the time, these discounts are a percentage. So the
Hmm.
more you pay and the safer you drive, the more you're going to get back, guys. So
Right,
don't be
right.
shy about putting your young drivers on programs like this. Because I think a lot of time, Christy, I could be very wrong. You have a teenage son. I don't. But I just feel like children today, young people today, listen to their phone more than what their elderlies have to tell them. So a lot of time what we see with the app is they won't use their phone if they're on this discount because they know it's going to affect their rate.
Yep.
But if they weren't, of course, it's texting and driving, selfies and driving,
All you have
recording
to
and
do is look
driving.
around and see that it's happening. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, Christy, we talk a lot.
Yeah, I was just gonna I think we're going the same place,
Mm.
right? I was gonna say let's recap because we've talked about
Yes,
a lot of things.
yes,
So, first, disclose the personal demographic information accurately to your agent,
yep,
marital status, um, how many vehicles in the home, all of that kind of thing, so that you get that insurance score that's specific to you, the best rate
ex-
for you.
exactly. And number two, don't be shy about having a conversation or considering having higher deductible to keep
Yep.
your monthly payment low on your auto insurance.
Yep, you got it. And then finally, talk about those discounts. Ask which ones are available, which ones are you eligible for, how much would it save you if I do that versus if I don't. Have that conversation with your agent and make sure you're getting the best rate.
Exactly, guys. And I know that you're going to take this information and you're going to call an agent. And if you don't have an agent to call,
Call
you
me.
can always call Christy or you can call me. Our information is in the link down below. If you like what we had to share with you today, please like, follow, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
You
Bye.
got it. Bye.